Hello YouTube, my name is Rachel. I'm a photographer based in New South Wales. My username online is Flyaways. I'll post all the links below. I do a lot of cosplay photography and I've been doing it for a while now and thought I might do some tutorials on how I process some of my images. Different processes for every image, pretty much, depending on the series and game. I apologise for my Australian accent if it's annoying. I also apologise for this picture that isn't actually I've got to fix the orientation up, it's wonky. I'll do that at the end. I usually always do that at the end in Lightroom. Now, flyaways, common problem for cosplayers because they have synthetic wigs. It doesn't really matter if they've got a good wig or a bad wig, it's almost always going to be a problem. I've found it's almost always a problem. You make them move around a lot, wind, etc, etc. I get rid of them. There's many ways of getting rid of flyaways with retouching. I get rid of them by 3 methods. I spot heal to start with, then I clone using a darken method, and then I spot heal with the second option, as there are two. I use the healing brush at the end, and then I add a bit of texture and noise back in to undo some of the damage that I've done with the other techniques. I got halfway through this myself, I'll show you, and thought, why don't I just do a tutorial? I'm doing it anyway. So I'm going to turn that off, start fresh, and here we go. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is create a new layer, and we're going to zoom in. I'm going to start down here, and we're going to use the spot healing tool. Shortcut for that is J. Learn some shortcuts, it makes it easier. Now, with spot healing, I found the trick to use is to not go from beginning to end, otherwise you get weird things. So I'm just going to do a few. These are easy ones. So again, I'm not going to go right to the end. It's okay here, but not to the actual end of the wig. If you do it, I'll give you an example. You get all sorts of strange things, cuts, things missing. I'll do that. So just going to fix up some of these ones. I'm going to come back with these later and use the clone tool to fix them. I might jump around in this depending on how long this takes me, so this video might cut in and out depending on how long. Okay, when they're faded like this and not as strong as this one, for example, they're a lot easier to do. I'm going to leave these two major, I don't know what you call them for now. Again, okay, so not quite where it joins the rest of the pixels. We're going to go, you can be messy with this, it doesn't really matter. And again, not quite to the end. Then I go back in and start to get as close as I can without affecting the wig just here. If you do something funny, actually that's not too bad. Sometimes it does it and you just, you can't keep it because it means you've got to start cloning the inside of the wig to fix up the mess. So you can be rough to start with. I've got a tablet, so it's not as boring. I used to do this with my mouse, especially in winter. It was boring, it was tedious, it made my hand hurt. As you can see, this tool retains the texture really, really well. Once you start using the clone tool, you do lose a bit, but then I can add a bit of that back in. I don't know how close I can get here, but let's give it a go. Oh, it's not too bad. Alright. You'll get this blurring and this weird effect, but I can fix that a bit later. Okay. Step 1. Massive difference. I don't know how long this video has been running, but it took almost no time. A bit slow with the mouse, but that's alright. I'm going to call this layer spot heal. Now, new layer. I'm going to call this one, no I'm not, clone, darken. Okay, again, we're going to go in. Okay, clone tool. S is your shortcut. Get my brush size right. can use the bracket keys to make them larger and smaller. If you learn any shortcuts, at least learn that one. It's very helpful. Okay. Now, select my area by holding Alt to clone from darken mode. I'm going to whack it down to about, I usually start at about 15-20. If I don't like it, change it. Yeah, it's not dark enough. Up, up, up. Oh, and it helps. Yeah, I've got that on all layers. Cool. Okay. Now, this really starts to make a big difference to the mess that these flyaways create. You can use them on flyaways that you're going to keep. I'm going to keep those, for example, but I'm still going to use it. Yeah, not that dark. I'll come back to that. I still will use that because I want to keep them there and have them looking a bit natural. You can do this at 100% if you want, but up to you. I like to build it in gradually. Now you can probably see if I zoom in, it's creating a strange pattern here. It's getting rid of the grain. It's doing a lot of repeating. I'm going to fix that up later in the next step. Alright, back to the clone brush. No, that's bad. I'm not learning that shortcut's too long. Okay. Okay, now that didn't take very long at all. Let's have a look. So this is the first layer, spot heal, the darken clone. As you can see, it's really looking good. You can leave it like that. If you're uploading at a small resolution or you're putting it on Facebook, it probably doesn't matter. My images sometimes get printed out very big, so I edit as if they're going to get printed out big or as if they're going to get printed in a magazine. Okay, next step, new layer. Okay, I'm going to call this one clone 100%. This is where I use a very small brush, clone brush. I'm going to put this back on normal, 100, come in and fix the mess. Now, usually using a brush with the 100% with cloning is not good, but because we've done most of the work, you're just not really going to notice it. Except then, ignore that. Alright, keep working on the hair, sorry about the rest. Again, with the tablet, this is a pretty quick process. And you wouldn't do this for every image, you'd just do it for one or two, or the ones that are your favourite. If you needed the wig to look this good in 20 or 30 images, you'd make sure it looked that good before you shot, with whatever products the cosplayers use. Okay, now, by using 100, you can get a really, really nice edge, as you can see. Now I keep changing my source for the cloning because there's so much different colour variation in the background. You just should anyway. I wonder how much of this I'll be cutting out. This isn't as quick as the step 2, obviously. I'm going to leave that mess there. You can always reduce the opacity if you think you've got a pattern that you can't really replicate and it looks really messy. Alright, what am I going to do there? Oh, I'm going to get rid of it. I'll try. Big first so that we can copy the patterns in the background, see all the lines. And small to make the definitive edge. Definitive, is that even correct? Defined. This is really hard. This step is really hard to do if you don't have a tablet. But I never always had a tablet. And I just persevere with it. Now we've got patterns that aren't really, let's get rid of that. It's not supposed to be there, and this is supposed to be extended. So let's extend it down. Cool. I'm not going to go all the way around because you get the idea. That's crap. Oh, sorry. I shouldn't speak too much like an Aussie, should I? No. This might look a bit rough. The edge might look a bit dodgy, but when you zoom back out, you can't tell. Alright, I'll pretty much just leave it at that. I'm just going to fix this black up. It's a bit cruddy. Okay, next step. Now, I want some texture back. New layer. I'm going to call this texture 1. Okay, now we use the healing brush. This is where you select a source. You don't just spot heal, it won't work. It just looks stupid. You select the source. Go away. And we can bring in, that doesn't need it, that does need it. I don't know how well you can see this on YouTube, you might have to be in, let me blow it up. See how we've got the grain of the original photo, and then it's got this softness here on the outside of pretty much the entire hairline, and the repeated pattern are also what you don't want. Zoom back out. Alright, source. Now it doesn't look like this when it finishes, it'll process it. There we go. What do I do then? Yeah. Forward. No. Okay. Might have to cut that out. Again, we don't go all the way up to the hair, as you're going to get it doing really weird stuff. It's not magic. Watch. You can't keep that. Okay. Fix, fix. Done. I've got a pattern there I want to get rid of. And a bit more. Patterns. Patterns. This one's a mess. I might clone from here for that. It's better. Cool. Okay, that's pretty much all the steps. Let's put the, I'm going to do one more layer. I'm going to call that noise and sharpen. I'm going to put all these into a group so I can show you the result. New group from layers, and then we got Flyaways. Cool. Okay, for the noise and sharpen level, I'm going to have to merge what's here. So I'm going to go Shift, Option, Command, E. That merges everything that the computer can see into one layer. Now I'm going to block that layer off with a layer mask down here. If you hold Alt while you do this, it fills it in with black, which means anything I do to this layer you cannot see yet. Now I'm going to go in. I'm going to paint with white. I haven't done anything to it yet, so you're not going to see anything happen, but B for brush, X to change these two the other way, reduce. Now anything that's a little bit blurred here, you can't see it, but don't worry, you will. Rough, 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 rough. Just paint it, paint the hairline in. You're going to clean it up later. Okay, now I'll zoom in. On the original layer, I'm going to add some, I'm going to bring some of the texture back in. Okay, I've zoomed right into the image and you can see the boring lack of texture that we've got here. If you're uploading this to Facebook, like I said, you're probably not even going to notice, but I know it's there, so I'm going to fix it. It only takes a second. Now, filter, noise, add noise. You should be able to see that on YouTube. What I'm going to do is going to throw this right up so that you can't miss it. And change this to Gaussian. Okay. I'm gonna put it at about 7 off on. You can use this here, but it shows you applying noise to the entire image. Off on. Okay, press OK. Zoom back out. You can't see it, but I can, and I'm happy. So I'm going to cut now, and I'm going to edit the other side myself, because you've seen me do 3/4 of the hairline. There's no point you seeing me do the rest. Back in a tick. I'm back after doing the right hand side, which I'm particularly happy with. It was more difficult than the outside, but that's okay. Last thing that I do now, here's your before, here's your after. With every edit, I can't stress this enough with cosplay edits. I see people edit their skin and their eyes, everything too much. Whatever you do, knock it back a little. So if you're going to blur your skin, do it, get your layer, bring it back a little. If you're going to sharpen, bring it back a little. With this one, we're at 100%. That's why I've grouped it together, to make it easy. So this is at 0, this is at 100, this is at 30. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring it back just the insiest bit to about 80. I'm going to stick at 81. Now, if you look at the before and after now, you can see a bit of, actually no, a little bit more, 85. This just adds a bit of realism to your retouching. If I just left that there, it would be quite obvious. And I do have a picture that I did of Howl's Moving Castle with the cosplayer with the fire in her hands, and I don't think, I've got to go back and look at that one, but I don't think I backed it off enough, because the flyaway cleanup around her hairline to me looks too obvious. So when we zoom this in, look how natural it looks. Okay, save it. That's pretty much all I'm going to do with her hair. All I'm going to do with this image now is I'm going to make her eyes pop a little bit, maybe take the edge off this shadow here. No, this shadow here is the one that's annoying me, and that's it. If you have any questions, post them below. If I spent too long on certain sections or anything at all, any suggestions. This is my first tutorial. I've got no idea. I've never done one before. Yeah, I hope this helped you, and I'll see you with the next one. See ya.